I hate to interrupt everybody visiting, but I've got 6 o'clock, so if you'll call to order, I would appreciate it. Call.
Here.
Peoria,
Here.
Estes,
Here.
Hastings,
Here.
Murphy,
Here.
Pickens, Price,
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in pledge allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We'll move right along with the reading and correction and disposition of the minutes.
I'll make a motion we dispense with the reading and accept the read.
We've got a second. Whenever you're ready to vote.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Dent,
Yes.
Peoria,
Yes.
Estes,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yeah.
Pickens, Price,
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We'll move on now to County Treasurer's Report. Ms. Wanda, if you'd like to address that, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
And my report's in the packet, and y'all probably found a couple of extra pages, some little marks. Now, I've been telling you all year long that it's just been amazing me at what the state has been sending. It's amazed me how well our sales tax is done. I mean, I've just been blown away. Well, when I got my end of the year balances done, I was really blown away. This report that I do for you, these little checks over here at the side represent revenue greater than what I had anticipated for 2021. Yeah, a lot of good numbers. When I tallied it all up in County General, I had revenue of $517,000 greater than I had anticipated. The majority of that is either sales tax or state money that has came. It's not my local court costs, court fees. Housing state prisoners, twice as much as we had anticipated it to be. And revenue that was below was $5,614. So, I mean, it just blows me away, y'all, as to how well 2021 has done. I hope 2022 is as good. But, you know, as y'all all know, it can be good and then the bottom can fall out. So, what I done after I did my balances, County General ended and checking account ended so well, I have moved $270,000 from my checking account to my investment fund. I had told y'all when we done budgets that I felt like we would need roughly $200,000 of checking account revenue to go with the anticipated revenue to meet budgets. If anticipated revenue comes in like I anticipated or like it should, I hope, $200,000 was what I thought I would need in my checking account money. So I left roughly $200,000 of the excess so that it's there, so that hopefully we won't cut into the balance that I started 2021 with. That's my hope and desire, that everything will continue to do well. Road revenues were $280,000 above where I had anticipated them. Once again, state money, sales tax money, paying off the dump trucks and paying it out of the investment fund. That helped your road checking account balance with money that we didn't have to spend out of the checking account. But hopefully we pray and good Lord willing, everything will do as well in 2022. We're off to a fairly good start. I've had settlements from all the offices for their December stuff, and all of it's pretty close to where it was in January of 2021. So it's hope and go. We head out. So we'll see how this year turns out.
Thank you, Ms. Wanda. Any questions for Ms. Wanda?
Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Ms. Wonder. We appreciate that.
Oh, one
Oh,
more thing.
one more thing, okay.
Yes, don't see him. I had told James French, he wanted me to relay to y'all how thankful the Fair Board was for their money that y'all had given them this year. And I told him if he couldn't make it tonight, I would be sure to tell y'all. So the Fair Board is very appreciative of their money for this year.
I thought you were fixing to ask for money for a new crystal ball.
No, no.
The one she's got been working.
I don't have a clue.
It sounds like it needs
No, it's
replaced
been-
to me.
I have been totally amazed at how well this year has been.
Yep, we've been blessed, for sure.
Yes, we have been blessed.
County and Circuit Clerk's report. Ms. Elisa's here. If you have any comments or anything, Ms. Elisa? Nothing to say? All right. Any questions for her? If not, we'll move right along. Old and unfinished business. I've had some gentlemen look into the ventilation system, and anything you want to comment?
I talked with Cushman about it, and they were the lowest bid, and they said they would rather not rebid it because it really wouldn't be fair to them if everybody knew what their bid was. But they said that they would work with the QUORUM court or whomever on reducing the price on those units that we did not want. So it would be cheaper than what they had already bid. And, there was some questions about those systems being effective. I priced some other systems, by the way. And this one here is by far one of the cheapest ones that I have seen. I do know that Highland Schools and all of their new rooms, they're putting these in there, and they believe that they are effective. So I talked with Mike Johnson about places that they had put some of them, and he was telling me about some hospitals, other schools in Arkansas and in Missouri where they do business. And he said this is a scientific system. I mean, it's not just like somebody putting a couple of filters together and slapping it on a heating and air conditioning unit. I mean, they've got some good solid research behind it. And so.
The judge sent you the email that Cushman brought in showing the effectiveness, 90% in 60 minutes, 99.4 in 30 minutes for COVID-19. And it helps with the flu, kills any kind of bacteria, viruses throughout the facility.
And everybody got that.
Yeah,
So,
I sent that up, or the judge.
I know I got one.
Mr. Schultz, do you got any comments on it?
The
I don't
scientific,
have anything.
Scientific
I
stuff.
ain't seen it.
All right.
If you're going to do something like that, it's we're getting slammed again, and these units are not just used to deal with COVID. It's all kinds of stuff that's in the air, and so. But
Well, we got an opportunity to do it with the funding that we've got through the CARES Act, right? Been here.
yeah, it is one thing that passes the smell test from the very beginning. They've been using these funds for, and like I say, I priced some of these back last year when we were talking about it. And a lot of places a lot of these companies are asking about, well, they tell me no more than $100 a square foot, but closer to 80 to 85. And I think the figures that you have here, I think the low bid was 17,000 something.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to be cheaper still because you're going to take off it's either 6 or 7. 6 of those units that you're not going to use them because we're not housing people there.
Now, that was in the
Old jail.
Old jail.
Yeah.
What about health department? They used to check them out.
To their knowledge, there is not one over there, and what had the maintenance guy go over there and look, and he could not locate where one was attached.
There was a blue light right up above the receptionist there, box about this big, and I asked them what that was, and they said it was one of those air purifiers.
Well, when we questioned them,
You
they
stood right under it the day I was sitting in there.
That was their ultraviolet.
I
Yeah.
think it says that they're ultraviolet, is that their TV? They used to have a light in there that was,
It was
Right.
blue. Yeah.
Blue should either, yeah.
I say TV, I don't know what it's.
Well, I make a motion we do this.
I'll second it.
All right, got a motion and a second.
We're gonna accept the Cushman bid, correct?
Yeah. Theirs was the cheapest.
Yes.
We ready to vote?
Dan, or, yeah, Barnes,
You can let somebody else vote first if you want, but yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Diorio,
Yes.
Estes.
Yes.
Lacy.
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
Pickett. Price.
Yes.
Stoll.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now,
Well, that-
It'll be less than 17.
right. All right, this is an old unfinished business. It's about our American Rescue Plan funds. All right, I'm gonna kind of read this, and I had some help with this, so be patient with me. This week, there have been some new developments on the American Rescue Fund. Under the interim rules, we did not qualify for loss funding. The final rule was published, and a video conference on the final rule was held January the 7th. The Treasurer, Ms. Wanda Gertman, Administrative Assistant Denise Frame, myself, and Judge Brown sat in attendance to this meeting, or video conference. And under the final rules, counties are allowed to assume losses of funding up to a full amount of the atonement of, or $9,999,000, whichever is greater. This will allow us to count our entire allotment as a loss of funding. This will give us a lot more flexibility in spending the money. All right, at this time, I would like y'all to agree on an amount that we'd like to award the Spring River Ambulance Service. We have an application that you got in front of you that's been prepared by our team and looked at by different lawyers, our lawyer, and assisted with another lawyer. It says in there that no part of this net earnings of the 5014C4 benefits of any member, 501C4, none of any member, founder, contributor, or individual can benefit from this. That it has a voluntary board, that it has an accounting system, or has a designated physical agent, there you go, that it practices non-discrimination, that it will not cost any grant, it will not use any grant funds to directly or indirectly support lobbying activity, that it will repay to the county any funds that the county has to repay because of the 501c4 actions of the or status. So what we have to have is your approval to present this to the ambulance board with the amount that y'all decide on. The board president and secretary has to sign off on it.
How much money we got, Wanda, to the penny? Are you through, Judge?
To the penny?
Well, the
Right now.
$100,
Got to the penny.
the $100 range.
Okay,
She's got
they
it.
sent me $1,693,000. We used $366,385 to do 2020 premium pay. Left me $1,327,000, and these are rounded numbers. Roughly for the 2021 premium pay that the ordinance says that we intend on paying in February, it's a rough 400,000, so that would leave you 927. If we do the premium pay again at the end of the year for 22 hours, that gives you another 400,000. So you're gonna wind up roughly with 500,000, and that's considering the air filtration system. I should get another 1.6 million, hopefully in May.
1.693.
Hopefully in May. That's when
But-
they sent last year's, and when they sent the one in 2021, they said within a year we would get another payment.
But we
So-
can't do nothing with that money until we get it, correct? So we can't allocate it or go use it,
Ms.
okay?
Wanda, could you repeat the figure you said that we had left over that we could use?
500,000.
It'd be roughly 500,000. 500,000 would be a good safe number.
Did they, when they was here the other night, and the request number was what, 800 or 800?
600,000.
600
That's what they was asking for.
or 600,000, yes.
So really what you're saying here is when they fill out this, if they hire a lobby to go up Washington, they're accountable for it.
Right,
Right?
If they
Yes.
misuse the funds.
yeah, they can't use that
Misuse the
fund.
funds.
Yeah, they can't.
All right, there was some magic figure that triggered a automatic federal audit. What was that?
750.
Huh?
700,000.
750?
But
Well, I'll just tell you right now, I'm forgiving them $749,000.
well, we're gonna have a federal audit, whether it's
Well,
given the
I-
ambulance service.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't tempt
We're
federal
gonna
audits.
have we're gonna have to pay for a federal audit. There's no doubt about that.
Well, where are we gonna get that other 249,000?
Well, we're gonna give it to them in phases.
Okay.
Or, see, the money's not
Half
not
of the
all
time.
spent, it's not all spent. That was the numbers after we do the
Yeah.
February and the
I
fall.
understand that. We're,
So
I
we
know we've
still
got 500,000 on hand, we're betting on.
got
betting
900
on
really
it.
on him, because
Yeah,
the fall's not.
Yeah, but I mean,
We're working our numbers now. Has everybody turned their stuff in Denise? Everybody's supposed to be getting their stuff turned into Denise to do the February premium pay. I heard that was really quiet, no.
All but two offices.
We won't
The,
mention any names from behind us. She's been sick, so we'll overlook her.
I recall John telling us, had they not been penalized on getting money because of their classification, or what, you would have gotten $800,000.
It was 830 or 860, I don't remember.
I'm trying to make you whole on that as close as I can without just, like I say, I was gonna just stay under the umbrella. It's you that's gonna be audited.
And liable if anything goes wrong.
We won't be liable.
No,
That's
that's what they said. we
What
wouldn't.
this is for, correct?
Right.
That takes care of us.
I just wanna say, you guys have other organizations. You talked about giving money to the
Yeah.
fire departments.
I'm for giving money to fire departments, you bet.
Okay,
Uh,
and, you know,
We
we
just
come
gotta
up
figure
with
out how we're gonna do the fire
what
department.
it,
Yeah.
there's,
If we
in this
can.
new final rule, here
Yeah,
we go, Wanda,
yeah.
before you had to show a loss. In
I
order
have
to
worked,
move it,
I have worked all those numbers, and we
and we
ain't got
didn't have a
one.
loss. Now, you can transfer every penny that we're gonna get
Up to $10 million. Could be,
into your general, which we would have a separate fund number for that, which is what we're asking you to do tonight on that separate ordinance. So that means all the money, as we're thinking, we could give the fire departments a lump sum money also.
because
Each
once you,
individual.
yes,
Yes.
once it's.
Could we not give them $600,000 and then at the end of
You
the
can
year?
always do more, yeah,
And that way, we, I think that's what we need to do, and that
because
way
that's
we
what
can
they
go over the
originally
past.
asked for, was
Well, I think the fire
600,000.
department needs to come in there because they're the first line of defense.
Well, we're gonna have $1,444,000 left.
Yeah, but I
You know,
know,
I'm just saying that.
You're gonna have a lot of other organizations trying to
Yeah,
get it too.
yeah.
Let me just make sure I understand, because they've changed the rules, all right.
Just
We've already
Friday.
settled this business, but if it was just coming up before the court tonight, could we have paid for those dump trucks with some of this money because we can show a
there you
loss
go.
now? I know we've
No,
already
they
taken
do
care
not
of that.
mention They do mention, police cars. Fire trucks, they do not mention
Dump trucks.
dump trucks.
They do say road.
Construction.
They do.
I'm not trying to
Bridges
cause
and
trouble, I was
construction.
just curious because the way that the wording's all of a
It
sudden
also-
changed, and
it
now we
also-
can show a loss?
The road is a different animal all the way through the county government thing. You can always move general money to road, but you can't move road money to general.
Today's report, this is the instruction
If you guys
manual
want, we
to
can send that out
fill
to
out the
any of you.
report.
That's the condensed version.
Yeah, this is the, yeah.
Like I started to say before, our first line of defense is the ambulance. I mean, I don't mean it's our first line, but that's an important line for this virus. Another line is these first responders going out in the fire departments to these houses. So we don't need to just forget them.
I agree. And that's just like law enforcement though, you go back there, you know, they get called out and go to
We need it.
domestics or anything else, and they will wade right in on it. So,
Yeah.
And also this money can be used for updating the courthouse. I don't know if you guys have seen our soffit and fascias outside, they're falling down, they need painted, they need repaired, you know what I mean? Yeah, but we have to have the money.
They have money.
You know, our bathrooms were put in the 60s. Have you looked in the bathrooms? Have you looked at the tile floors? You know, there's a lot in even the courthouse proper that needs. So
They have relaxed
the
the,
whole,
Too much
What-
traffic going to
Well, that's
that.
something we
money.
probably
That's
discussed.
what we can do.
Okay.
so you know, it's falling down, Ron.
I thought that's pretty
We're
good.
making progress so we can spend it.
Yeah, you bet. We're making progress. And that's what I wanted to add in there. We would like to see the county do something significant for the fire departments in the county. So try to come up with some ideas for February's meeting on that. And we'll try to, but right now I need a number
For the ambulance.
for the ambulance service.
I've given you my number.
Okay.
well, I'd say 600 if that's what they
I'd
asked
say
for when they
600
came to the
too.
meeting.
And don't mean they can't come back and get some.
We might be able to do more later, but there is other people.
Right.
That, you know, if we get through this deal and do what we need to do with this money, 600,000 is a long way. If we
Well,
wasn't getting this money, they wouldn't be getting it.
I think when they asked for 600,000, they wasn't probably expected to get 600,000. I mean, that's just,
Well, and
I mean, why give them more right now? I'm just saying. I
I,
agree with Todd.
I don't want to throw a wrench in anything, because I want them to get money just as well as anybody else. But there again, this other that's promised to us is promise. It ain't happened.
It ain't here.
So if we give the 600,000 they're wanting now, that wipes us out. We can't do nothing for nobody else.
Till we get
Correct?
Well, we've got 400,000 that we not spent for next year on the wages or whatever.
Right.
They're 400,000
Right.
that we have to, we could do something
You
with,
could just
couldn't we?
change that then.
Well, that's what the fall, that's why I said that a while ago about the fall 400,000, that, because they said
That
this
would
money,
be, that would
that
be
we're,
all the next
you know,
money
that
that
usually.
we're gonna receive from the,
You talking about the CARES Act money we got in the fall of the year?
No, I'm talking about the wages, the premium pay this fall for 2022. We still have that, and we should have our other money by then, and I see what the judge is saying. He's saying, just because we've been promised don't mean we're getting it. That's the only thing.
Like I say, that's just something to think about. Yeah.
But let me ask you this, what we've got, if we have a next month's meeting, we talk about the fire departments, we'll still have some to use for it.
Well, out of that 400,000 that's already,
Get into what we're gonna pay this fall, which we
Right.
hope we got more coming.
we hope to make up, but if we don't, we'll have to cancel that out.
Again,
Again,
May,
April,
June,
May.
April, May,
Well, we may have to wait till we get the next money to do the fire departments, but we've got 15 fire departments, I believe, in this county that,
Are you counting rural only?
no, I'm counting every
Total.
fire department.
Every.
Every fire department has a fire district outside of their city limits if they are a city department, so,
Do they not get stimulus money also, though, the cities?
well,
Cherokee does.
the cities did get stimulus money, but whether they spent it, but our city fire departments do calls outside of the city limits.
Have they approached us?
I've got another suggestion, and it probably
Fire
just needs to be
department,
thrown away,
Except P.E.G got it.
but why not drop, Bart ain't gonna like this, drop them back, can we not drop them back to 300, and then later propose another 300 for them, or just one time all we can do this?
No, that would work for me.
Why couldn't we do it in July?
Bart,
And see when we,
how would that work for y'all?
Well, it's better than nothing. I mean,
But
I'm just gonna be really blunt. We
Please.
lost our butts during COVID.
Well,
For 14 months, we lost our butts. Y'all saw it in the presentation.
yeah,
This nonprofit ambulance service touches every life in this county. No other nonprofit touches every single person in this county.
Absolutely.
but to do what we're talking about, like Chuck said, if we done 300 now and 300 after we got it, or do we need?
We'll make it work, and we'll be appreciative of whatever we get. But all I'm saying is, we haven't given a raise since 2016. Our ambulance fleet's getting wore out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like we had in the presentation. 300 will help, and we will very much appreciate it, but that's not gonna fix the problem.
No.
I'm not
Getting
talking about
to
just
600.
300,000, I'm talking about 300,000 now, then when we get the rest of that money, another 300,000.
Yeah, and that's great, I'm just reaffirming all that. And,
How do you feel about 749, Bart?
well, obviously, I feel better about that, but I mean, you know, I don't wanna,
What, do you think that's overkill for what you need?
oh, no, well, we can put it to good use, but you guys, I'm in a weird situation here, because I'm director of the ambulance service and I'm on the Quorum Court. So I've kind of tried to keep my mouth shut about this for the most part.
Well, we need to hear from you.
And I respect that, and I know where he's at, and they, you know.
Well, I respect it too, but if you gotta have 600,000 right now,
Yeah.
you can't live on 300,000, you're gonna be in trouble in a few months.
And
Yeah.
that's the question.
That's my question, I ain't being rude, I'm just saying.
No, I understand, yeah, and like I said, we'll make it work, and that's very much appreciated. If that's what we get, that's what we get.
And if we get that other, we may have more to give, I'm just saying.
You bet. Yes, sir.
Now, I do want to circle back to one thing, though. The CARES Act money, we haven't touched it. How much did we get from that?
400 and,
420
Okay, and it doesn't have restrictions on it. So, all I'm throwing out there is if we still have a pot of money to pull from that we got before we got American Rescue Plan funds, that we need to do something with. Because it's stimulus money too.
It's got 400.
Or we can do the,
We've got 424,000.
Why don't we just do the 600,000, get over with, and that way,
if bad come to worse and we done our fall, we were short in the fall, we just had half of that.
can I have,
I need that, well, I want to ask
What
one
do you
question
think?
before. Have we been approached by any of the fire departments about needs? Just, you know, since we're talking about it.
The question there is, I'm on for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have
The
two.
question is, we've been told we could not use
Is
it.
that what it is?
That's right.
Then y'all
That
been
is.
told.
That's
that's
the
the
question.
question told.
I'm on one,
Because
two.
they've been asking me
Thanks for
about it,
the
and I
answer.
said no.
and the re,
I'm gonna make a motion that we give Barton them 600,000.
I'll second it.
I'll second it.
all right, we got a motion and a second. Ready to vote?
Yeah.
Barnes,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Peoria,
Yes.
Estes,
No.
Hastings,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Pickett,
Yeah.
Price,
Yes.
Schultz.
Abstain.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move right along now. I got some new business to tend to. I need your approval to open a for the coroner's account, $1,100, what is small equipment?
They don't, you don't wanna open anything, you
Oh.
wanna add a line
Add
item.
a line item, okay.
They need to
Courtroom
appropriate $1,100.
$1,100 to buy her a computer so she can do the MDI log for the state crime laboratory. So,
That's the only way the state crime lab will be taking people is through this website, or through this.
This thing here,
How
can
we
you,
did it in the past is law enforcement always filled out what we call a body submission form. Somebody passes away, we gotta send them to the crime lab. The crime lab's changing how they do that now. They're not taking it directly from law enforcement, they're taking it from the coroner's office. And so she'll have to fill out this paperwork electronically and file it with
Effective March 1st.
I make a motion, we create a line item.
Second.
ready to vote?
$1,100, right?
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
Jens,
Yes.
Florio,
Yes.
Estes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
Pickett. Price.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much, appreciate that. That's all the new business I've got, I think. Go ahead, Ms. Wonder.
you've got an ordinance, there's an ordinance.
Well, I've got two ordinances.
Oh, we ain't got the ordinance.
Well, that's what I was going to, if nobody else had any new business. Well, I'll make sure we didn't have no more new business, all right? The first ordinance,
Are you fixing to go to ordinances?
yes,
He's got new business.
okay. All right,
Ms. Black looked at me for a minute. Last week, met with the Sydney City Council and Bart Schultz, J.P. Bart Schultz met with them also. And they're wanting to sign an agreement with the county to supply a part-time deputy for the city of Sydney, just like we do at Ozark Acres, Ozark College. And want to do the same program we've got set up there, so it'll be identical to that. They'll reimburse this one with, I know she's been in talk with Ms. Christie and figure out if they're gonna pay monthly or every 3 months. And so it's set up the same way the other two places are with the 20-hour a week. And I'll supply vehicles and they'll supply the pay and the workman's comp and everything to cover it. But I just need to bring it up to the court tonight and get y'all's approval before we go on. So we're hopefully get started next week, and then Barbara talked to her on the phone earlier, hopefully we may get it started next week, we can get approval from that.
I move to approve that.
Second.
approval. Ready to vote?
Barnes,
Yes.
Jens,
Yes.
Florio,
Yes.
Estes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Murphy.
Yeah.
Pickett.
Yeah.
Price.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Thank y'all very much, thanks Sheriff, appreciate that. Okay, all right.
You said that we needed something on this CARES Act money before we can deposit it in county general, or just for the ambulance?
That's,
What the ordinance is for,
yeah,
right?
when you get to the ordinance, I thought he was overlooking it. When you get to the ordinance, it's got it.
Yeah, I got that somewhere here. Okay, any more new business that I forgot? If not, we'll move on to ordinance 2022-1, revisions to the employee handbook. Who feels up to reading that for me?
Just read the first page.
Just have to read the first page, don't have to read all that extra. Okay, go ahead.
Ordinance number 2022-1, an ordinance adopting revisions to the employee handbook for Sharp County policy and procedures for at-will employment and other matters. Whereas the Quorum Court of Sharp County, Arkansas has determined the specific attached items in the employee handbook for at-will employees should be revised and adopted for Sharp County employees. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Sharp County, Arkansas, that the attached revisions are hereby adopted for policy and procedure for at-will employment for Sharp County employees. The provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared to be separable, and if any provision shall be, for any reason, be held illegal or invalid. Such holdings shall not be, shall not affect the validity of the remainder of the ordinance. All ordinances and resolutions or part thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Make a motion to adopt.
Motion needs a second.
Second.
Got a second, Mr. Vicky?
Before they vote, I have one question. On the catastrophic leave pay, is that per office, that catastrophic leave, or is that countywide catastrophic leave pay?
I would think it'd be pretty wide.
Yeah, I don't see where we can do it.
That's what I needed to know. So it's a countywide catastrophic leave pay.
I would think so. They're all county employees.
Correct.
Okay, if somebody gets over the maximum 240 hours, and they're still carrying over, can they take what they would have got and put in that bank, or is that just cut off there?
All right, this is on sick leave.
Right,
So we don't buy sick time from somebody if they leave.
okay, so it's just
It's, you know.
wiped out, okay.
I can carry 48 days. After that, I lose.
Right, we can't bank them into our bank that you was gonna lose.
You know.
Okay, I just wanted that corrected.
That's my understanding,
That's fine,
that's the way that works. Now, as far as the bank, it's up to us. You know, what do we, you know, that's another issue
right.
that we can address and we could make it like, you know, up 20 hours or 10 hours or whatever, you know. But, you know, if you give a man 48 sick days, or if he banks his sick days and he never uses them and he's got 48, more than likely he's gonna take 12 days off next year.
You would think so, but I've seen some that didn't.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
Well, now I have a question. It says over 30 hours may be donated. Who determines if an employee has catastrophic leave? I mean, what if you have an employee who every month falls in sick and uses their monthly sick day? And maybe everybody realizes that person's not sick, but they're using it, and they come up with something catastrophic.
and they don't have no time.
And then they don't have no sick days, but yet they want to use out the catastrophic leave bank. And,
That is an issue.
you know, you have this issue of, well, that person's, they've taken their sick day, and I really know that they went to Branson. They wasn't home sick, they went to Branson. But now they want to use out the catastrophic leave bank that all the other employees have banked into, and they really wasn't taking good care of the leave that the county gave them to start with.
Oh,
Well,
I mean, this is all hypothetical, I know,
yeah, it is
but
hypothetical, but I can name 3 or 4 names, I wouldn't, but has no days, no sick days. I mean,
We have
two or 3, maybe. Been there long enough to have 30 days, you know, minimum, but every month they get one. And they use it. So we can give up to 10 days before it has to go before the quorum court. I can give you 10 days, or we can, us 3 give you, but then the quorum court has to approve it above that. That's the way I read that book.
we're gonna have to rewrite this to include that,
Whatever they want to put in there.
or can we,
I
or
don't
we
even
can
know
just
that
put that in the
catastrophic
number?
leave is necessary for us because we are small and
cancer,
if,
that's cancer.
I understand that, but we would donate our time to that person out of our hearts.
Yeah, I see
You know what
you're
I
saying.
mean? Do we really need this? that, you know, we know this guy has used every single one of his sick leave, and now he's
And we know
broke
he
his
was
toe.
sick.
You know, he's broke his toe, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you know.
I think
So I don't know that we
something in there.
need this as Sharp County, but that's just my opinion.
And you know what
Because we have had,
justifies
we have had
catastrophic?
people, we have had people that have had cancer, and we have given them time
Well, we had people,
for, you know.
a guy that broke his leg, whatever, on the grader. You know,
Yeah.
and that's been my deal on carrying these sick days, being able to carry more sick days over, you know, just because of that. I
Well, they
mean,
can carry
because,
240 over, but that's their choice.
Can't we just leave it like it is, like you're talking about, out of your compassion to give, is that what you're talking about? Just pretty much that somebody gets sick and you want to give them the days, you give them the days, and you don't have to have any special provision to the
I
ordinance?
think that's a great idea, because I think it should be left up to each individual office on determining what's happening in their office. I mean,
Yeah.
You know what's going on.
Yeah, you would.
Don't that eliminate a problem too?
Aaron, Sheriff, what do y'all think about,
stay
I
with
mean,
them.
y'all got lots of employees.
It seemed like we ran into a problem before when we tried to donate time, didn't we, with our sick time?
It's just never really been,
With
I don't
auditors,
think
it
it's
seemed
been
like it
that,
would be great if we had something set up on our ordinance, just to cover that, because it seemed like when we tried to donate some time,
Well-
what it was.
I mean, if it's written into the policy that you could, an employee can donate to another employee, it's, but this,
Or-
it's not in there now.
Or a
Change that
department can
catastrophic
take
side
up
of it.
a donation of 10 or 15 days, and then
Evaluate it.
It is nice that the department gets to decide, you know, if there is.
I think it means more to the individual that works in that department, when his department or her department gives the time. And then, after that point, if the whole county, any county employee wants to contribute to that person, be able to do that. Instead of using everybody's time in their department, you know, say, give them 10 or 15 hours out of your department. Once that, come in here and say, look, this is what's going on. Any county employee that wants to donate time, we could do that.
so the wording that's on this last part right here just needs to be different. Like, we need to change it to be
More of a
more of a
compassion
donation,
instead of a catastrophic
right?
leave thing.
And that we should take care of the auditors as far as us coming up with the wording on.
If you got it in there, I'm sorry, I hadn't read it.
Oh, it's,
It'll
no,
cover
there's
that.
not anything in the
It's
policy at the moment.
And I know what you're talking
Donating.
about, because it seems like I remember us,
We had one,
we've discussed that before, but anyway, we just need some good wording.
But, I mean, you don't want a bank, I mean, you don't necessarily want a catastrophic leave bank.
No.
And that's not what, where my question was at, people give, and then, you know, you have an employee that comes up that he has misused his own days, but yet he wants to use out of the bank, and whose choice is it to decide he gets to use out of the bank if he has
I don't-
not, you know, taken care of the days the county give him to start with?
I don't think the bank's a good idea.
no, but if we have something on the cash,
Yeah, where you
somebody
could
comes down with
donate.
cancer, they're not gonna be just stuck.
Where we can donate.
Right, where we could donate to help them. But leave it up to each county official, like that would be good
A
too.
bank puts everybody in a bind, who's gonna make the call whether they've used their time or not?
That would be up to the department head, I'd say, but
Well, I'm gonna withdraw my motion.
Well, we can,
He making the motion?
we can pass the
I didn't know we had a motion on the floor.
Yeah, we had a motion
Yeah,
and a
well, I
second, I
got through
thought.
reading and I made a motion to accept it, but we need to change that before we.
With the changes of, and then.
Yeah, you can accept the ordinance, then we'll change that
He
to
read it and then.
better wording and.
I just
We
think
can always take the
we
word.
need to strike
He
this
made it
part
right real quick.
of catastrophic lead bank.
Strike it.
And, they can,
I didn't hear a second.
they can give that up to 30 hours, you know.
Yeah, there was.
Probably anyway, but
Strike.
Correct? If we just strike out the catastrophic lead bank and leave the ordinance like it is and just take those 3 words out, they can donate up to 30 hours. Period. And that's up to their
It's not
supervisor.
mandatory, it's not mandatory language there. We can leave it like it is, it's optional. Any leave over 30 hours may be notated.
I just don't think we need a bank. I just feel like it was called for that.
So are we striking out words? Is that what we're doing, those 3 words?
Yeah, that last 2 sentences,
Okay,
very 2 last sentences.
okay.
Any more discussion on that? If not, we ready to vote?
What's our
No,
motion?
I wanna know
What are we
what
doing?
the correction is on that last line.
Throw it out.
Take it completely out. And are we gonna go ahead and address anything that has to do with donated sick leave? Like county employees can donate leftover sick hours as the need arises?
Not necessarily leftovers, they can donate their sick time up to how many hours? What was it?
30.
Anything over 30.
So Kevin,
Anything
like
over.
you said, just take out the catastrophic side of it. So take out the catastrophic leave bank.
Yes.
Right.
Not
There you
that.
go, there you
Yeah,
go.
Okay.
no.
The last 2
We
sentences.
create a bank. And we want it to where if an employee wants to donate some of their sick hours to another employee,
That
they
has
can without the auditors getting on our case.
that has exhausted their time.
Yeah.
Bart, did you go back to that motion?
I'm gonna, make a new motion. I make a motion, we accept this and do what Kevin said.
Got the bottom line,
No,
2 lines.
2 lines.
Take out the catastrophic leave.
I second it.
We got you second it. All ready?
Ready to vote?
Okay. Barnes,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Peoria,
Yes.
Hester,
yes.
Casey, Martin,
Yes.
Pickett,
Yeah.
Price,
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Thank y'all very much. I appreciate that, gentlemen. Now, if we'll move on to the next ordinance,
What's the number on it?
2022-2, right?
Correct.
I need a volunteer to read that, please. Huh? Okay, Justice Dents will read it for us here.
Sharp County Ordinance 2022-2, be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Sharp County, State of Arkansas. An ordinance to establish special revenue funds to be named Sharp County General ARP Revenue Loss Fund. Article 1, affirmation. It comes before this court that there is a need to establish special revenue funds on the books of the county to track the revenues and expenditures for the above-mentioned funds. This court recognizes and affirms the need for such funds to properly account for and control all such revenues received and expenditures made in compliance with all applicable laws. Article 2, establishment of fund. There is hereby created on the books of Sharp County Treasurer and the books of the Sharp County Clerk special revenue funds to be known as Sharp County General ARP Revenue Loss Funds. Article 3, operation of funds. The purpose of this fund will be to fund government services as per guidelines in the U.S. Treasury Final Rule for ARP funds. All expenditures will be approved and appropriated by the Sharp County Board.
Need a motion.
I make the motion.
Okay,
It'll be fund number 1800.
I got you on that. I got you.
At least, it'll be fund number 1800. But I just now realized I didn't type the phone number in there.
All right.
Phone number?
Got a motion and a second, and we're ready to vote.
Barnes,
Yes.
Yes.
Diorio,
Yes.
Estes,
Yes.
Hasty,
Yeah.
Martin,
Yeah.
Pickett,
Yeah.
Price,
Yeah.
Schultz.
Yeah.
Thank y'all very much, appreciate that. We'll move on to announcements. I've got one, don't want to forget your financial statements in by 1/31/22.
Now, let me comment on that.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
5 or 6 years ago down in Faulkner County, some JPs went in late to file this form,
Financial statement.
asked the county clerk to backdate the form, so she did. Prosecuting attorney filed criminal charges against the felony charges. So don't be going in late to the clerk's office asking them to commit a felony.
Was that what I turned in a while ago?
That's
I
what you
need that
turned in.
back.
To just put all that money you've been
I
making.
don't think that it happened, I don't think they go back, they ended up dismissing the charges, but still,
They passed them around, didn't they?
they caused attention.
I have one question. We know COVID is going rampant right now,
Well, your clerk shouldn't.
and you're having employees off, and they're having to use their sick time and their vacation time. And in the past, we have had that policy in effect, and then we reenacted the policy, but it's not in effect, and has not been in effect. So employees are having to use their sick time and vacation time. And I had got a phone call the other day, well, I didn't use all mine in 2020, can I use my COVID time? It's like, no. Well, can you double check? It's like, sure, so I'm double checking. For the no answer, hopefully, that's what you guys say.
I mean, unless we're under a state of emergency, everything's,
We're under a federal, but we're not under a state.
right. And
And,
that was why we regrouped on this last deal and helped everybody out in 2 months.
right.
But we made it
You
perfectly
reinstated
clear
it,
that-
yeah, exactly.
There are
I just
some
told them I would
counties-
bring it.
There are some counties that are passing ordinances that has to do with that, as far as not like what we have done before, but saying if they have COVID, they get 40 hours of
We
whatever.
done that.
I know, I'm just saying that there are counties that are putting that in place as part of their policy, as part of their, so that people don't have to use their sick time for
Hey,
that.
we can go, I think he's got it. Got that mask.
Okay, so we're not gonna reinstate that or do anything with that, we're when it's done.
I also
Can't
believe
use
it's done.
anything that's not like that.
Y'all want it, propose it, bring it in there.
All right. Any other announcements? Nothing? All right. Comments and questions from the public? If not, I see not any. I guess I need a motion adjourned. Got a motion adjourned. All in favor?
All right.
Thank you very much.